Welcome down to the Blues Brunch, the Railway Station Beer Cafe. I'm Rob Montgomery. We got Ira on the sound. For my coffee bean, checking out the movies in the magazine. The way that she watches me from across the bar. I get a pickup for my steel guitar. I saw you walking now.
Joining me is professional musician Rob Montgomery. He's a lead guitarist, music teacher, producer, and consultant. And he's here today to talk about his successful music career. Welcome to the closing act.
Thank you, Christine. It's great to be here.
Well, you are certainly a multi-talented individual.
Well, thank you so much. I've been doing it a long time. Yeah.
So, how did your passion for music begin?
Well, I got my first guitar in New York City when I was 10 years old. I was on a trip with my mom back visiting, and my cousin was a really successful keyboard player in the New York music scene. And so he knew I love how much I love music, so he gave me a guitar as a gift. And I brought it home, and I haven't put it down since, and I'm 57 now, so I've been playing a long time, yeah.
So, what, do you remember, like, your first time you performed?
Yes, I do, actually. Like, my first gig that I did, which was like, I wouldn't say professional gig, but it was a pro setup. I was 12 years old, and it was for the Vancouver Sea Festival on the showboat. On the showboat. Yeah, and I was 12 years old, and that led to another gig that same year at the P&E in one of the band shells. And we got paid. It was a professional gig. So my first professional gig was literally, I was 12 years old. When I was 15 on, I played full-time professionally all the time. Yeah.
Do you ever get nervous performing at all?
You know what? I never get nervous. I get excited.
Yes.
I get excited. So I think that energy is something I put in. I've got confidence because I've been doing it a long time. But I'm always excited and thrilled to do it. So I think for some people that might be nervous energy. For me, it's excitement. It's like the rush of the show. And I'm a believer that if you want, to do it, you should get that rush. You should be excited to perform for people.
Well, you have that incredible energy and passion for music. And
Thank you.
You're also a music teacher.
Oh, I am. Yes, I am. I've got a guitar lesson business that I do during the day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays I teach, and that's my day job. I call it the musician's trade. If you're gonna be a musician, so I got a nice day job. I teach in my house. I got a beautiful studio, and yeah, so that's cool. Yeah.
Well, you practice what you preach.
Yes, absolutely.
And tell us about your band.
Well, my main band is Incognito. We got 5 CDs out. Incognito has got Amanda Dean on lead vocals, Dave Barton on bass, Steve Werbicki on keyboards, and Daryl Mays on drums, sometimes Sean Susi on drums. That is Incognito, and we've been around for 30 plus years, about 34 years. that I'm the original founding member. And also I have Rob Montgomery and Friends, which you saw today. We always have special guests. And we're at the Blues Brunch at the Railway Club, at the Railway Stage and Beer Cafe. And I'm the host of the Blues Brunch, which goes 1 to 4 every Saturday. And I was for 15 years the host of the Yale Hotel Blues Jam, which was a famous blues venue in its day. It isn't anymore. So the owners of this place who bought it, the Donnelly Group, bought this place and came straight to me and said, look, we'd like you to be involved. And they've been fabulous, the best people to work with. They're so great. So that's what I'm doing, yeah.
Well, that's congratulations, and music is needed, and
yes.
And you've been in the music industry for like 40 plus years, is that?
Yes, I have, yeah.
So, I mean, how has the music industry changed? I mean, it's changed a lot, but how in your...
You know, the music industry is always changing, and there's things that the record industry changes, the radio industry changes, but I always feel that you have to keep moving forward, and I'm always busy. I've never not been busy, and I have an attitude that I get people interested and excited. Venues change, but if you do what you do, like what I do, which is host, and I love the audience. My audience is super loyal. They follow me everywhere, right? Because I make sure I involve them. Right?
And you get them to sing.
I get them to sing back with us and have so much fun, right?
I'm a picker, I'm a critic, I'm a lover, and I'm a sinner. Ain't my music in the sun. I'm a joker, your turn. Sure don't wanna hurt no one.
And if it's their birthdays or whatever, we celebrate. So the industry changes, but I also believe that every day you go to work, you do your best job, you engage the people, you make people happy. You're never going to be out of work, and I never am. I'm always very busy. One of my other bands is also Lady Sings the Blues. I'm the music director of. Amanda Dean is also in that. Leslie Harris, Joni Bai, and Lita Dupre. And and Nadine States. So that's another show, a specialty show I do, which has got like 4 or 5 of the top girls in the country. And my band, my Rob Montgomery and Friends, backs that band up. So it's just a lot of different things. You got to keep things exciting and keep the audience interested.
Right, and then with social media, it helps promote music.
Big time. Social media is, anybody who's watching the show, friend me on Facebook, Rob Montgomery. You'll see my picture of me with the guitar. And it's a great tool for this day. It lets people know where we're going to be and all that stuff.
Yes, and you're also a songwriter too.
I am. I just put my new album out. Mm-hmm. This is my new CD. We just played Across the Plain, which we just recorded. And that's a song I actually wrote for the Fort McMurray wildfires. And I was actually coming home from a tour on the prairies, and we were driving across. I was in the vehicle, and we're cruising along. I'm looking across the fields, and I'm seeing the heat waves over wheat fields, like you'd see over a road. Like I'm going, my God, it must be so. And so I had this theme for Across the Plain, like with a sort of a Neil Young band vibe. So I've written for a lot of people as well as myself. Anyway, so I thought about this song, and I sort of had shelved it. I'd created the music, and I'm always doing so many things. I'd sort of left it alone. Well, I woke up one day and turned on the TV, and all of a sudden the Fort McMurray wildfires were crazy. Everybody's jumping in the car, taking their animals and all their favorite possessions. So the story of Across the Plain was everything that was coming off the TV. So it was interesting that the drive across the plains, driving across the prairies, was the title, but the story came from the Fort McMurray wildfires. So I put them together. Yeah, I love songwriting.
and the dogs on you. All we have left behind is now we're gonna find. Wind swept up, took the town in flames. No time to think, gotta get away. Packed my belly, full of better days. All we have left is you. A family and the dogs on you. All we have left behind is now we're gonna find. Running across the plain, keep on running, gotta get away. Running across the plain, keep on running, gotta get away. Running across the plain, keep on running, gotta get away. Running across the plain, keep on running, gotta get away. Original music.
A favorite song at all?
Well, I wouldn't say I have a favorite song. I have so much. I love musical. I love good rootsy music. And I also love George Benson and Eric Clapton, B.B. King. I love the Stones, of course. I have such respect. I love, and people are out doing it still. There's a great picture I just shared on Facebook of Mick Jagger jumping up and down in Manchester playing a show, right?
Wow, and I mean, like, you're busy. I mean, you're helping others in the music industry. I mean, how do you keep it all together? Like, how do you...
Well, I've got a natural born energy. It's been in me all my life. My mother said to me always, who's an awesome lady, she's still around, she's doing great, and she's 86 now. But so she always, it's one of my biggest musical fans ever. It's her, still comes out to tons of shows. Anyway, she'd always say, well, music, you're going to make a go of this. I can tell this is what you want to do. Well, make sure you're the one who knows where your business is coming from. So I've been an organized business band leader since I was 15. I've been making the calls. Actually, even when I was 12, I was doing it. So it comes natural for me. And when I'm doing that, I've also created like this blues brunch. We get people up to play. They get to sit in and play some tunes and showcase. I believe if you're gaining success in the music business, you should be generous. Because if you give, you're going to receive. Mm-hmm. Right? And so people that support or don't share. I'm just believe that's my belief system, and it works well for me. I've always been an inclusive, and I've been influenced well locally. You know, Jim Burns is a good friend of mine, Tom Lavin, all those people, like, they've been big parts of the music scene. And when I was young, they were very, very generous, you know, musically. So I believe that's a really good way to be. And I've learned to be that. It's just the way to be.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, pay it forward.
And the Blues Brunch is every Saturday from 1 to
1 to 4 every Saturday afternoon at the Railway Station Beer Cafe. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, we're doing a lot of shows. Rob Montgomery and Friends we're going to back up. This summer, we're doing a whole bunch of different dates. We're going to actually back up this guy. His name's Mr. Boogie Woogie. They call him, from Europe. He's an amazing player. He's won all the international Boogie Woogie piano awards. So he came out last year. We did some shows, and they were a huge success. So this year he's coming back, and we're going to do some more. I got lots more Incognito stuff. I'm working on doing an album of our favorite songs with Incognito, which will also feature Amanda as well on some tunes, as well as myself and the Incognito band. The Blues Brunch is going strong. We're going to be bringing actually some of my blues shows into the Railway in the fall.
Wonderful.
We have Lady Sings the Blues coming in here in September. I have Incognito and Friends, so we'll have a few extra guests in November. So this has been a place, the relationship's grown. We're going to do more stuff there. But there's lots of things going, and I'm always active, and lots of teaching too, and so it's great.
Yes, it is, Robin. And I want to talk about your business, right? Music business.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So tell me about how that came about.
Well, again, like the business side of things, I've always been, involved in making things happen. Mm-hmm. When the Yale was around, when it was a blues club, which it's not anymore, but when it was, I used to put together a lot of big shows there that were successful. The closing shows, all these different sort of things. So I've always been a very good organizer, and I know how to put people together who works well. That's what became Lady Sings the Blues. Is I bring all these, these people if you're going to bring people together, bring people that work well together, right? So, and then the Edgewater Casino, before it's now closed, but they're open a different casino, but they don't have a live venue, but they asked me to do a good show once a month, and it was a big, beautiful room, and I put on those shows there. So it sort of developed my company, MEI, Music Entertainment International Media Incorporated, which is a company that I started, and it's also my record label. And it's also my consulting. Someone will say, hey, look, I want to put together some live. And because I'm so busy with all my own music, I have less time to do extra outside of what I'm doing. I have done that. And sometimes if somebody's going to do a festival, they'll say, we'll hire you as a consultant, what should we do? So I'm up for that as well. But I do know that I like to focus these days on what I do, because when the Yale closed down and it was such a successful venue, I did everything to try to keep that scene together by getting other people work and as much stuff. But a lot of that stuff I didn't see going around. Like, when I started in this music scene, I could see Jim Burns and Tom Lavin and the Powder Blues. Everybody's jamming with each other and helping each other out. It's an important thing. But really, my company is so busy that I have to look after what I've got in my stable, which is Rob Montgomery and Friends, Incognito, Lady Sings the Blues. We'd sometimes do a show called Sweet Home Chicago. But yeah, so Incognito Unplugged, which is me, Amanda, and my piano player. So lots of stuff that keeps me very busy.
Well, you certainly are. You're multi-talented, Rob.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And where can we listen to your music?
My album is all on YouTube under Rob Montgomery and Friends. And it's Guitar Stories is the name of this album. So all those songs are up on YouTube to listen to for free. The album is also on iTunes. It's on all the streaming networks. You can buy them at the shows. You can buy them on Amazon, Amazon.com, Amazon.ca. So it's internationally available and it's got a lot of attention. And so it's out there, and I plan on doing more records and stuff. But lots of great live shows with full crowds, as we see today. It's really great. It's really fun.
I had a great time.
Well, thank you so much.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for all you're doing in the entertainment industry. I really appreciate it. Anything I can ever do to support, I'm always here for you guys.
Well, we'd like to have you back on the show.
We'd love to do that. Love to do that.
Strong.